You always want to tell a fun, exciting story. And every time I've ever made a movie, I go into it going, I want this to be.
Rachel Zegler never saw it coming. She had no idea that what started as bold confidence would spiral into something so publicly humiliating. Not like this. Not in front of cameras, not with thousands watching, and certainly not with Jack Black, standing at the center of the firestorm. This wasn't just a box office blunder or a controversial soundbite. It was a full-on breakdown of a fairy tale ripped apart from within by the very person cast to lead it. It should have been magical. Snow White was meant to be Disney's triumphant return to classic storytelling, a modern twist on the first-ever full-length animated film that built the Disney empire. Rachel was their golden girl, the breakout star from West Side Story, crowned the fairest of them all, the future, the symbol, the next billion-dollar face. But instead of walking into a throne, she walked into a buzzsaw. It started with interviews, light-hearted press junkets, silly promo games. And then came the cracks. She joked about the original prince being a stalker. She laughed about the old storyline being outdated. She made it clear her version of Snow White wasn't about love, romance, or anything resembling the 1937 original.
On this podcast than there are in the new Snow White movie. And that's probably due to Peter Dinklage.
It's not about needing a man to save her, she said with a grin. That's not our story anymore. The audience? They didn't laugh. Instead, they recoiled. Because it didn't sound like empowerment. It sounded like disdain. A rejection not just of the old story, but of everyone who loved it. The internet lit up with fury. Fans felt betrayed, not because the story had changed, but because the new story didn't seem to care about them. And when Rachel doubled down, saying in one clip, "If you don't like it, I don't need your business," the damage was done. Audiences don't forget, and they definitely don't forgive easily. But then, out of nowhere, came the man no one expected to enter the ring, Jack Black, not a critic. Not a Disney executive, not a rival actor, but Jack Black, Hollywood's king of comedy, the voice of Kung Fu Panda, the heart of School of Rock. A man beloved for being the rare celebrity who feels real, relatable, honest, and according to insiders, he had something to say. What happened behind the scenes wasn't supposed to go public. But it did. Reports began to surface. Jack Black had confronted Rachel Zegler. Sources close to the production claimed that after a particularly tense private moment backstage, Jack pulled her aside, not to scold, not to shame, but to question. To challenge. Why mock a story so many people hold dear? Why insult the character you were trusted to embody? Why make fans feel like their childhood memories were garbage? He didn't shout. He didn't curse. But he was firm, and Rachel, overwhelmed, snapped. What followed, according to witnesses, was a meltdown. She bolted, crying, sobbing in corridors. Backstage, people whispered. Others stood frozen. It wasn't a tabloid rumor anymore. It was real, emotional, and messy. The moment went viral without a camera. That's how loud it was. And from that moment on, the walls began to close in. Reports emerged days later that Rachel had entered therapy, that her team had gone silent, that Disney was scrambling behind the scenes. Interviews were pulled, promotional appearances canceled. Executives began damage control without admitting there was damage at all. But fans already knew, because outside the boardrooms, the audience had turned. And what they saw now wasn't a misunderstood actress. They saw entitlement. Ego. The face of a film that felt more like a lecture than a legacy. Meanwhile, Minecraft, a movie no one thought could work, exploded. In the same week that Snow White tanked with a jaw-dropping box office belly flop, Minecraft stormed into theaters and took over $60 million in one weekend. Teens dressed in suits, theaters filled with laughter, fans dancing in aisles. The energy was chaos and joy. A film made from cubes, no politics, no agenda, just fun. The contrast was brutal. Snow White, for all its legacy and budget, had become a TED Talk. Minecraft was a party. And that's what Jack Black pointed out. He allegedly told studio insiders that the film had no soul, that the chemistry was flat, that Rachel's performance and even Gal Gadot's felt lifeless, wooden, cold. It wasn't storytelling. It was a script stapled to a cause, and audiences could feel it, and Jack wasn't alone. South Park joined in with brutal satire. They released an episode mocking Disney's entire live-action strategy, lampooning Rachel, the race and gender-swapped remakes, and the smug political overtones that had seeped into every frame. America laughed again, but Rachel wasn't laughing. She was unraveling. One day she was being parodied on South Park. The next, she was being torn apart in reaction videos, mocked in TikToks, and turned into meme after meme. Her quotes, her face, her red carpet appearances, everything had become a punchline. And then came the loneliness. A video surfaced of Rachel sitting alone in a theater, her own film playing on screen. The camera pans, empty seats, row after row. She's the only one there. A painful image, a haunting metaphor. Compare. That to Jack Black, crowd surfing at sold-out Minecraft events. Teens cheering, families clapping. His movie wasn't flawless, but it was fun, and in that moment, the message couldn't have been clearer. Jack Black didn't destroy Rachel Zegler with cruelty. He destroyed her with truth. He voiced what no executive dared to say, what no co-star had the guts to admit, that you can't mock the very people you need, that you can't reinvent a classic by insulting its soul, and that Hollywood's obsession with activism over artistry was costing them everything. Even Rachel's fans began to waver. They wanted to defend her. They wanted to believe she was misunderstood. But then came the AI scandals, the deleted tweets, the unscripted rants, the claim that she should be paid for every hour her film is streamed, the suggestion that romance had no place in modern fairy tales. It was too much, too arrogant, too disconnected. And when Jack Black said it, people listened. Disney had no choice. Let us know in the comments. If you believe in storytelling over lecturing, like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell, because we're just getting started exposing the truth behind Hollywood's most spectacular collapses. Thanks for watching. Because sometimes, the fairest of them all is the one who knows when to stay silent.